Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Minnoxide podcast. Today we are here with Alec from Lux Detailing and my co-host Sean.
Yep, that's me.
That's our boy right here. Alec, how's it going?
Great day.
All right, great day. Oh, I don't know about that one.
Beautiful
It
day.
is
Not for Harris, but for
it's
me and
95
Alec, it's
degrees
been a
outside.
pretty great day.
Every day above ground is a great day.
No, I got swamp ass, dude. It is ridiculous out there right now.
Oh, it's hot.
It's hot, but no. So
Yeah.
I think we should
Back
kick this
to you
off.
for sports.
Let's kick this off. Let's introduce you to the people that may or may not know you, because you are the man behind Lux USA. So we got to kick you off with how you are relevant to the car community, because you've cleaned a lot of people's cars in this car community. Lots of exotics, lots of crazy stuff that some people will never ever see. Tell us a little bit about you and your business and how you got into it, and why should people care?
Why should people care about me? Yeah, so I started Lux in high school. The main reason for starting Lux was for basically to get around nice cars. I really wanted to get around nice cars when I was younger and went to car show a little time, and I really was thinking about starting a business back then. So I found a video online about, back then no one was really doing mobile detailing, so found a video about a dude in California doing it and watched everything I could, and then the next day spent about $2,000 worth of products and went out on a whim and started in high school, and now we're kind of here ever since. So it's been a lot of legwork getting it to this point, and a lot of ups and downs, as you know, because I met you in the beginning.
Dude, I've known you since the beginning. I mean,
the beginning, it was...
Well, both of us for each other, really, because like we watched each other grow over the years. So it's been really awesome to see what you've done, and again, the downs. We had downs at the same time.
We did. Harris and I have had many.
I'm sorry, that sounds so funny. We both had the downs. Continue.
Calm me down. I'm trying to be very clean for this podcast.
Clean for who?
For you, for the viewers.
No, I like you dirty.
Oh my god. You need to edit some of this shit out.
No, we're good so far. We're clean enough so far.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
I think we've maintained the PG rating.
It's PG so far.
We can touch into PG-13, I think.
PG-13.
Yeah, Disney will still pick us up.
Disney will still make us.
Disney still pick us up. We'll get sponsorship. And that ends today. So, kind of to continue from that, I started in high school. It was my junior year is when I started everything, and it's been a ride. I went from owning a DJ business to owning a car detailing company, and it was a whirlwind, and I kind of took what I knew from marketing and everything I'd done beforehand into detailing and grew it. So there was a lot of legwork. In high school, I missed a lot of days. When I got super busy, got huge corporate accounts with border trucks and stuff like that, so I was not in school every single day because I was out detailing, and I kind of grew it now to a point where I do it full time and I enjoy it every single day.
So how old are you?
I'm 21.
21. And
Jesus,
how long
the
have
years
you been
have not
doing
been
Lux?
kind.
I've been 2017. I don't even know how long ago that is.
That's about 6 years ago.
So yeah, I was about 17.
17 years
16,
old.
17, right when I got my license is kind of when I first got into it.
Okay, so
Actually,
you're
I think
class of 2018?
2020.
Your class of 2020?
2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get into like the whole wanting to own your own business? Did you just watch YouTube gurus, or were you take a high school class that was intro to business?
So it started from ever since I was young. I was never good at school, hated school, so I never had a passion for it. And kind of from there, I've always wanted to focus on other things. I never saw a point in school. I said if we could be born with the stuff in our minds, that'd be amazing, because I hate it. I was very inconsistent with it. So my first business was 4th grade. I was really into designing things. So I took orders from my friends and went online and made custom hats and upsold them at school. And then I sold everything. Like fifth grade, I started my DJ company because I was super into music, and I was like, might as well be a DJ. And so I did that up until high school. But yeah, from like 5th to 8th grade, I sold everything.
So you were born to hustle.
I was always hustling. I'm the only one in my family who wasn't a straight A student. You know, I'm the youngest of 3. All my siblings are straight A students, went to college, all engineers. I'm the only one who didn't go to college or anything like that. So they've always wondered why I'm different, and there's many reasons for that. But yeah, so it's just kind of been a long road of knowing there's more out there and
figuring it out.
Yeah, and it's always trial and error, and I've always kind of been like, no matter what I can do, you know, make money. I've tried. I love failing. I've always kind of understood that I've tried a lot of different things, and failed at a lot of different things and lost a lot of money, but it's helped me so much in life now. So like, even like new businesses I'm starting, it's, you know, I can whip up a pretty kick-ass website in like, you know, 20 minutes and no marketing plan, and so failure has helped me a lot through that.
There really is no blueprint, right? Like, you can get the exact like to-do list of everything you need to do for a business. Somebody will tell you everything you need to do, and you will still end up with a different result.
Yeah, I've never written a business plan. When we first start, you know, they tell you write a business plan. I think I don't really I understand a business plan, knowing your market and all that stuff, but I also think it's the biggest reason not to do something as well.
Because, like a justification.
Well, yeah, because it's like because when I first did it, when, you know, my dad was like, no one in my family is an entrepreneur. No one owns a business. So I figured it out myself, and he was like, write a business plan. Saw that document at like freshman, 8th grade, and I was like, screw that. It was like 20 pages of nonstop research, and I was like, let me just buy stuff and figure it out from there. And I just think it was the biggest reason, you know, to justify not doing it.
I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, the biggest there's a really important quote out there. You know this one to your heart. It's, don't ever listen to somebody who's telling you not to do something if they've never been there before.
Yeah. And that's kind of, you and I both know that because, you know, we've talked many times about peers in our lives and parents and stuff like that, and it's like, it's a hard conversation for people out there who do that because, you know, I had parents, you know, they're concerned and whatnot about me.
Which they should be. I mean, it's a job.
Exactly, about me doing stuff, and, you know, they give me business advice, and I'm like, I appreciate it, but, you know, you got to take advice. Take advice from where people are who have done the stuff, not people who just, you know, talk.
It's really hard to find mentors in spaces that you're trying to go, especially if somebody's never done it before. Yeah. Like us with this podcast, like everybody keeps giving us ideas like, why don't you do what this person does? It's like, well, we can, and we might take an aspect of it, but we're trying to do something so much different, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the best way to do something is, you know,
figure it out.
Why reinvent the wheel, but you can make the wheels nicer.
I'd love to compare our ledgers, see who's lost more money. I want to say
that's tough.
It's a tough one.
Oh, I've had many days. I lost a lot of money online.
Oh, true. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. You got me beat. Never mind. I remember this story. Do you want to share that story?
I can. So, I got really into flipping everything online. Basically, I got really early into drop shipping days when it was super hot. You know, I was the kid that shiny object syndrome. I just tried everything. So I wasn't 18 at the time. I think I was 15 at the time when I did this. And I found a super hot product, listed it on eBay, and we did like 50,000 in the first
Is this
month.
when the fleshlight came out?
No.
Oh, something else. Okay.
I would be a millionaire by then. But we did a crazy amount in sales, and I was ecstatic. But then it all happened within like a week span, and I didn't fulfill any orders yet. But eBay came to me and was like, "Hey, we are banning you for life because we can't verify your age. You're not 18. You have to be 18 to be a seller. You can't do anything." So that was the first one because I spent so much money to make that happen and started, you know, working on it. So I lost all of that within a week. And I was like, well, start something else. But yeah, that was a big setback that took me a while to figure out.
That was a rough one. I remember the first time I heard that one. Hey, Sean,
Hey, Harris.
do you need a roofer?
I could use a guy.
Well, I'm glad you agree. I saw your roof. You definitely need a roofer. And guess what? I think we know a guy. Do you remember Eric from the podcast like a million episodes ago?
Yeah, of course.
Well, guess what? He is the Twin Cities' finest contractor. All right? He'll get you taken care of because this summer, Minnesota being Minnesota, it's going to throw hail at your roof. It's going to have tornadoes throwing shingles off your roof. You know what? You don't know what's going to end up there. And he's going to get you taken care of because when you Google Solaris Roofing, you're going to see 5 big, beautiful yellow stars, and they're going to be telling you that he does not take a no when it comes to perfection. So you're going to reach out to him, either going through Google or you're going to go to solariscos.com. And let me tell you something, Sean. Are you going to reach out to him?
I'm going to reach out to him today.
Well, I'm glad you answered that way because, buddy, you need a new roof. Just for the sake, just because we are so early in the podcast, I do want to talk a little bit more about Lux Detailing because you really just recently, it's been a few weeks or months now that you decided to bring it back.
Yep.
So tell us how you stepped away from Lux and then came back to it.
So this is probably the biggest, this part that changed me the most was this kind of last year. So it was actually it was end of July is when I stopped. So end of July last year, I got super busy last year where I was booking 2 to 3 months out. If you called me, it was like, hey, in 2 months I can pick a date, and people were doing it. So I stopped advertising. I was like, I'm not going to pay for it, and I understand that hurt me in the end because I got the 1 to 2 weeks of work left, and my competition took everything because I stopped advertising.
Right.
And I wasn't showing up anywhere. No one could find me. So I tried to realign, and then it was super hard for me. So for like 2 to 3 weeks, it was like 1 to 2 jobs a day, and then at that time, I had 2-3 employees working with me. So I had a full operation. We were doing amazing, but it was just kind of that, I wasn't in the right mindset either of understanding the growth. I was an owner-operator at the time, is what I say. I had a job. I was detail cars, worried about the cars the next day. I never worked on the business. So that's kind of where I messed up, and understanding that one of my clients offered me a job because I was kind of ranting to him about my issues.
Right.
And, he offered me a job, and I've never worked a day in my life. I only worked 1 day at Polo for 3 hours, and because I got told what to do, I said, screw it, I walked out. So I've only had a job for 3 hours ever. But, it was a lot more money than I was making. So, and I was like, hey, I had a really bad week with Lux, and it just kind of hit at the same time. It was that perfect alignment of I've had a super bad week and struggling, and look, here, grass is greener on the other side, opportunity. So I stopped Lux and started doing, it was roofing sales and whatnot. So I started doing that and liked it, but at the same time, it really pained me the first time I had to tell someone. They're like, oh, what do you do for a living? I'm like, I sell roofs. I was like, that really pained me because I can't say, hey, I own, Lux. This is what I do. I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh, like not being able to say you're an owner. Okay.
It was saying I had an identity.
We're not shitting on Eric or anything. Okay.
No. I'm saying I had an identity crisis, where it's like, I just felt like I let myself down so much because I was like, I'm just, I'm nothing really.
That's reasonable.
I held myself to a high standard, and I was like, I just work for somebody.
Same
now.
here, man. When I had to shut the doors on Whiplash, I went through an identity crisis.
I think you and I did it at the same time. I think we talked about it.
We were talking, yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I think I'm going to be done. And you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to be done too. And we kind of talked.
Those are some rough conversations you and I had.
Rough. We were like, I don't even know, because we were both struggling at the same time.
Yeah.
Whiplash just finished and Lux was at the same time. So we definitely had some interesting conversations.
Yeah, that's interesting. Your guys' lives kind of run parallel with each other right now. So
he's my spirit dog.
So it seems like you're coming on the up and up, and so you should be doing the same thing.
The fuck? Have you not seen our podcast analytics? You know what?
Yeah, we are going on the up and up.
We're on the up and up. He's like, you should be catching up to him.
You should be catching up.
Okay.
That was a good comment, Sean.
Thank you.
Dude,
That was a good-
Sean-
that was a good softball,
I
like,
look.
hey, Harris.
I look for my opening and I take it.
He snipes.
Dude,
He
he's not. I think today's one of those days. So for those of you listening, me and Sean got a little heated, and by me and Sean, I mean me got heated before this podcast, and I think that's why this is working so well. I think we should argue, and by argue, me yell at you more often. This is fun.
It's great content.
Great
Content.
content. That's after hours content.
No, but I mean, I still remember like years ago. I mean, you'd be pulling up, with chrome supercars up to your neighborhood. Everybody would be wondering what the hell you're doing. I mean, there's something to be said.
yeah.
Oh, well, actually, before we even go down that route, I think there's something to be said with finding a niche. For example, in my instance, it's photography. Yours was detailing. Something that networks you with people of higher net worth, not necessarily financially, but also, what's the word I'm looking here? Like intellect and experience.
Mentality, everything.
Yeah.
I think that's one reason I got back into it. To finish that part, I got back into it because I did 75 hard at the start of the year. I decided to change my physical. I was on that path of in and out, gaining weight, losing weight, and I just kind of went all in. I did 75 hard. I listened to Andy Frisella about that and decided it's my time. So I quit that, started this back up, and it's probably the best thing I ever did. But to kind of go into that, that's probably what I realized the most was I get to, I touch like 45 different people a day. I see 4 or 5 different people. I go from, I have middle class, lower class to ultra super rich that no one knows about. And it's having, exactly with you, it's being around those people that have helped a ton because they love dropping advice here and there and having those networks of like you've built amazing businesses and it's for you and I to be like, hey, they love answering questions and helping people like us.
Right. I mean,
businesses.
I think one of the people that we had on the podcast here recently, Terry.
Yeah.
He is one of. Especially early on, he was such a crucial aspect. I mean, I remember when he threw me into the R8 with Trung or into the Aventador with Alex. It's like, dude, these are life-changing experiences for somebody so young. So many people in this country will never even see a fucking Lamborghini,
And that's crazy to think about. Well, you and I met Terry on the exact same day.
Was that your first time meeting him?
Terry was dropping off his Chrome NSX, and I always said, hey, you come over and take photos of it, of me working. And you drove him home, and that was the first time we both met Terry.
Little story side. You'll continue this in a second.
Oh, yeah. This is a great story.
So this is my first time meeting Terry, all right?
I trusted Harris at this point.
I had my V6 Charger at the time. I have to let people know it's a V6 because yikes. But just so you can know my personality. And I'm like telling Terry, like he was about to Uber back to his house. I'm like, oh, dude, I can take you over there. Like, this is our first time meeting. Yes. And I'm absolutely cooking, about to, 5-minute drive or whatever. And my brakes are like super like shot at this point. And I like last minute just slam on my brakes. I'm like, oh my God, I almost killed Terry. I almost flew into traffic.
Yeah, he did say that. He's like, Harris almost killed me that day on the way home. First time meeting him. Like, thank you for taking care of my client who just dropped his sports car off my house.
We actually had lunch yesterday. We had some good conversation. But he's as good as it gets.
Yeah, Terry did a lot for me starting out. I messed up with Terry a few times, and he's been a guy that understands you mess up in business, and he's been a great mentor and helped grow Lux for me a lot. Letting me use his he let me use his NSX on little shows here and there, and it won awards. And
oh yeah, the promo, I remember.
It was he helped a lot of letting me use his cars for promotion, and very grateful for what Terry's done for both of us, and he's been a great help.
And that comes back to the point earlier. It's like you gotta find people who, for example, like one of the people I used to hang out with, I do hang out with, is Minneapolis Mopar, right? He is very, very close, like cards close to his chest. Yeah. Those relationships don't happen unless you're a genuine person or you're having, you have to not be a douche. I don't know what's a better way of saying that.
Yeah. you actually have to care, basically.
Yes, that's the word.
It's not like, hey, I'm just doing this to get around him and just be, one of those network guys.
Make a buck.
All they do is network in hopes of getting rich.
Humble boy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, there's a lot of people out there like that. And I realized that probably after a year because, that's how you start out. It's like, oh, I get around these people. It was about the cars in the beginning. And then I realized it really was up.
Yeah, to switch flips.
It flipped. And I was like, no, it's really about the connections that you make. And there's been many of them like that. I've got to meet many, many crazy people that, I never thought I'd ever meet, but
it switches from materialistic to what's the word I'm looking at? Like a genuine connection. Like me and Sean, right? Like first time we met, first of all, he was late like half an hour because he was getting a car wash, and it was me and Nathan back in the day, Minnesota Exotics. We were doing a photo shoot for $30. We were gonna split the $15 or whatever, and freaking Sean, like I just wanted to shoot his Challenger, dude, because like Challengers were the coolest things in the world to me. I was a 392, manual, and
blue.
Yeah,
like, blue accents.
Yeah, little
great.
blue accents. Yeah. It was a little looker.
I love that car. Like I it's a bummer that it's no longer here. But like, regardless of what people think of those boats, they are fun ass boats.
They are. But no, exactly like what you're saying. I realized that I had more fun getting genuine with the owner, and like you and I are the same way. Harris a lot more. It's awesome walking around at car shows and talking to everybody that and it's like everyone I talk to, I'm like, I want to have a genuine relationship with you because that's how it starts, but in the end it does help at the end of the day with everything we're trying to do.
It's exponential too. Like the conversations only get better over time. Like you get better at like figuring out what somebody does and just kind of like figuring out who they are, whether it's good or bad. More often than not, it's good. But sometimes you figure out like, oh, this guy's a spicy tamale,
Exactly. Yeah. You see all sides eventually, and it's been a ride. But yeah, I've been so fortunate to have crazy people in my life because of it.
How far booked out are you right now? Now that you're back into it, it's not been that long, but I know you're busy.
We've been. It's kind of right now. So I upped all my prices because I saw how the market changed with details in the area.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I was like, I was a super cheap deal from what I saw before. I actually want to be able to have a living and not, have nothing at the end of the day. So I kind of upped my prices here and there and implemented a bunch of different things. So I'm not crazy booked out. Like, if you need a detail, I can get you in this.
It will get crazier soon once people hear you're back on the radar, though.
Yeah, and I've seen that a lot. I've had a flooding of old customers coming back to me.
Which is good. I mean, that means you did a good job in the past.
Yeah, and then that's, not to toot my own horn, but a lot of them have been saying, we tried this person, but we're coming back because you do a great job.
A lot of people are, so what I've noticed in the last year or two, or probably last year, is a lot of people are out of the business now, but a lot of newbies are coming.
Yeah, so like when I got back in, I didn't even look at anyone. I was just like, I have a name, I'm getting back into it because that's what I know, but it's my bread and butter. I don't know how to run it. But yeah, I realized that a lot of people are like, hey, there's like really nobody. Like, I was just talking to Ryan Wheeler, Lambo Dad. He was like,
I was wondering if you reached out to him.
I just did his trucks and stuff, and he's like, yeah, I've been looking for people. Who still does it anymore? And that's why I was like, yeah, I'm back into it, getting all my clients back, and I am seeing that it's an interesting business. It's very easy to get into, but it's hard to keep because a lot of people come into this like I did, super cheap priced. And then after probably about a month, you'll understand what it really is. It's long days, constantly, and it's not easy work. It's manual labor all day, every day, and you are against the clock constantly to make a profit.
Sun up, sun down.
Yeah, that's how it's been. This last week, it's been 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. This last week, every single day. and 75 hard on top of that. So.
I might actually jump back on 75 hard. I loved it. I mean, I never fully finished it. I did it twice. The first time was 45 days. The next time was 56. The 56 one I actually chose to stop because I wanted to go on a bulk, and I couldn't bulk on a clean diet. I mean, I probably could have, but I just didn't have it was an excuse, and I knew I was going to fail.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool, let's do this, dirty style. And lo and behold, I'm 50 pounds heavier now. But nonetheless, it is a total mentality switch. But what I was going to say, with you working sun up to sundown, I mean, do you give yourself weekends off now, or how do you structure that?
I used to not to. So, like, in my first, this is what I recommend if you're doing anything like that. In my first year of doing it, it was if there was an opportunity to make money, yeah, I'm doing it. I was every single day, morning, night.
Anything for a buck.
Anything for a buck, because I was like, I need to touch as many people as possible. Like, even in the wintertime, this is a funny story. That first year, I was like, I need people to know about the name. So in the wintertime, there isn't much business. I had a little bit here and there, but I did DoorDash. And every single DoorDash order, I'd drop a Lux Detail and business card into. So they get their food and see that, and I'd tell them at the door. So I'd tell everyone at the door dropping off your food about me, and that's how a lot of them actually came the next summer. In the spring, I just got flooded. So
that is sick.
Yeah, it's a way. I didn't think of it. I didn't know if it was allowed, but
I was about to ask you that too.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I can't see DoorDash like allowing that. Like, if they got a call from one of their customers saying like, "Hey, this guy's soliciting his business." Well,
I never got any issues. So
I wonder what the penalty would be. It's like, hey, stop that.
Well, they probably just terminate you.
Yeah,
they don't care.
You're a subcontractor for DoorDash, so it's.
I should do that for everything.
You're like nothing to them.
Yeah, it's like, okay, my bad. I fulfilled your orders.
How do you like that flavor, by the way?
What, the Jocko?
I had to ask you because I haven't had this
black
pink
cherry
mist.
vanilla. It's actually pretty good.
Okay, yeah, I think that one might be my favorite. I really was looking forward to the pink mist. It's like a pink lemonade, but it just tastes like lemonade. I don't really taste like the pink.
The Go Jocko's pretty good.
I like it. I mean, I just had to ask you because like I haven't had one of these in like a month, the pink mist, and I'm like, oh, this is actually a really good flavor.
I've never had this before. It's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we'll go shopping
I have a
after.
lot of energy drinks.
Yeah, you like the first form stuff because Andy Frisella and all that, which I honestly found. This might apply to you as well. Like, I found Andy Frisella at the perfect time in my life.
So did I.
Like, it's just like the right timing and everything. But another warning that I give people is, don't take everything too literally either, because when you full send it, like I did with Whiplash, which was a lot inspired by Andy Frisella, is that I full sent it, but I wasn't all in, if that makes sense.
Yep.
You have to do exactly by the word, or you're going to hurt yourself.
That's where you get in trouble. And I understand that because I got interested into him earlier this year because I saw Ryan Wheeler all the time, Lambo Dad, posting. He's running at like 9 o'clock at night, and I was like,
he's a crazy man too.
And I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, because and that's kind of really why I started looking into him. I was like, okay, let me look up Andy Frisella. I'm like, and I started listening to Relay F and his podcast, and changed me completely. And then I just said, you know what, I'm going all in on 75 hard.
Well, didn't I send it to you back in 2021 too?
You did.
I don't know if you...
I didn't even listen to it.
I'm glad to.
You see, that's what happens. Somebody says, "Oh, you should check this out. It's a Netflix show," and it's like, "Oh, okay, I'll check it out." And then they'll ask you over the course of a year. You're like, "No, I haven't." Yeah,
haven't
until
that.
You finally feel like you need it.
The
or
timing.
Like, it's all about timing.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that really kicked me in the ass listening to Andy, and I was like, I am doing nothing with my life, and that kind of going all in kind of is what I did with my other business, and that I'm so glad I did it that way. But I understand the point of, I've done that before where it's like, you go all in on money, but you don't go all in on effort. And that's where a lot of people mess up.
That's where I went. That's what happened.
Because they're like, throw all the money in, but you're not all in on effort.
No. So what happened with me, I actually didn't throw enough money up front. Like, the effort was there, but I didn't throw the money up front. And then it switched halfway through the year. The effort went down, the money went up. And then it just basically
because
strangled
you think
itself.
spending more, you can lean off a little bit.
Exactly. But no, you know what quote sticks with me the most? And even though I don't listen to him much nowadays, one quote that sticks with me and will stick with me forever is "What might have been."
Yeah.
That's a fucking tough one because basically 90% of the time we are doing half-ass work every single day. Yep. Same thing with Goggins. He's also saying like, hey, at any given time, we're only putting in 40% of our maximum potential. There's a whole new threshold after that 40% that you don't even know that exists. And again, this isn't a motivational podcast by any means, although I hope you're motivated. But at the same time, it's like if you want to make things happen, there's a reason that we outdo a large portion of our demographic. Yep. You know, what are you? I'm turning 24 in a month. What are you?
I'm 21. I turned 21 in February.
Right, you can drink now.
Yeah.
Attaboy. You know what's funny is you look older than me with that beard. That beard is a man's beard.
I know.
You could probably walk into a liquor store right now and not get ID'd.
I grew this at like 19.
Yeah.
And I was getting offered beers all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Same with my clients.
I know a guy in high school. He was like 17, 18, and he could grow like a full beard. He could literally just walk into a liquor store and buy like bottles, beers. They wouldn't ID him, and they were just because he looked like a 25-year-old, 26-year-old. Like, I can't even grow facial hair like that. Like, this is all I can do.
Dude, his mustache is legendary, though.
It is.
I hope you never get rid of the mustache.
I don't think I can get rid of it now.
I miss the mullet, though. I do miss the mullet.
I miss that, too.
That
was an epic time.
I miss my mullet. I do.
I think, did we both have mullets at the same time?
Yes, we did. God. I grew my beard down to here, and I had a mullet down on my shoulders. I was rocking it.
That was a good look, man.
That was a good look.
Were you ever part of the Facebook group, The Mullet That Changed My Life or something? Yeah, you were in there?
I joined that.
Okay, yeah, that group is insane.
Tell me, what is this?
Only if you had a mullet.
You'll know when you...
I'll get a mullet.
It was crazy. So there was a special day, Thirsty Thursday, I think that's what it was called. Yes. And that was when all the females in that group would post thirst traps. Yeah. And that was literally like almost like the whole point of that group. And it would be like the thirstiest women. Yeah. And then like any men that posted their mullets get very little interaction, but the women, they always got all the interaction.
Oh,
it blew up. Everyone was joining it for a little while.
Yeah,
I saw it on TikTok or something. I was like, "What is this?"
And that's actually the reason why I grew my mullet out, because I saw it at the time. I was considering growing out a mullet or cutting my hair into a mullet, and then it was like a sign from God. It was like recommended to me in my Facebook groups. I'm like, okay, I got to get it.
It's a sign from God.
Some people get signs from God to turn their life around. This guy's like, yeah, I'll get a mullet.
I'll get a mullet.
I'll stop doing crack. Thanks for the sign, God.
Mullet season.
Ridiculous.
Where were we?
Dude, two things need to happen before I bring back my mustache. Hear me out here. I either need to get a Firebird or a Trans Am. It's probably going to be a Trans Am. I don't know, man. Or a Fire. I don't know yet. And I need to get down. I need to at least be a little bit leaner. I can't rock that mustache on my skinny face when I'm fat. Like, it just don't work. But when I'm skinnier, I could rock that mustache like a mofo.
You could.
I'm gonna bring it back, dude. I don't know how big I can get it. Like the bushy ones, I'm jealous of.
It takes some work. It takes some work.
Takes some work to get them bushy, dude. I see some of these guys at the gym, and I'll be like, yeah, that guy fucks.
Yeah, that's how you can tell. You can tell by the size of their mustaches. I walk in there sometimes. I feel like very inadequate when I see somebody with a nicer mustache, and I'm like, oh man,
dude, like, I don't care how big your muscles are. If you're like, I don't care if you have 50 pounds more muscle than me, but if I see you have a mega mustache, I feel inadequate 100%.
Yeah, there's just a class to it, I'd say.
And now the question that Alec doesn't want us to ask.
No, let's not.
At the beginning, just before we started, Alec's like, I swear to God, if you ask me what I want to talk about.
That's not. I hate that.
No, I'm really excited to have you back on the scene. So again, do you have a particular client base that you want to aim for? Do you want to go back into the exotics? Do you want a little bit of everything? I'm sure pricing is going to have a little bit of an effect on that. I mean, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so I changed what I want in a customer because I decided to price myself out of the people that can't afford it because I decided not to do discounts or anything like that because I hate discount work and service-based type of business because it's like, okay, I'll give you a discount and you're happy, but I have to. It's hard for me to want to do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pay me for, like, my price is where that now. I'm fine taking time to get every little nook and cranny, but as a discount, I'm like, yeah, as long as you can't see it, it's good, because it's you're gonna get cheap work either way. Yeah. So I'm not going certain distances as well. So before I was like anywhere, wherever you want me, I'm going.
What's your radius now?
Well, 15 miles are free. 15 miles are free. Anything after 15 miles, I'm charging you.
That's
Okay.
reasonable.
I haven't heard this. Am I within the 15 miles?
Yeah, you're right down the road.
Oh, okay. You live here in Shakopee or
Yeah.
Prior Lake?
I live right by Sandpoint.
Sandpoint. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm right down the road.
Wait, you didn't know that he lives right there?
No.
Yeah. That's
Oh
why
my
I'm-
God,
That's,
he's
that's
been
what. That's
cleaning
why.
it.
Did you go to
that's-
Prior Lake?
No.
No? What high
No,
school?
I went to Holy Angels in Richfield.
Old.
Private school.
Oh, you went to a private school.
I did.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I did not know this. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
This is blowing my mind.
I'm nice and close.
It's awesome because like anytime I'll text Alec, he'd be here in 2 minutes. Like
Yep.
he's literally right there. I could throw a rock at his
I
house.
left at 10:40, whatever, 40 minutes to get here. So, yeah. Where
I don't know, but I'm excited to do some of your promo shoots because I know we were talking about a special car that you might be detailing soon.
Yeah.
Probably the most expensive you've ever done.
No, not actually.
Really?
P1's the most expensive ever.
You've done a
No
P1.
way.
And I was so I was not I don't know who the owner is. I did not set it up. I had someone else set it up. I was not allowed to take a photo of it, anything like that.
But you're allowed to talk about it today.
But I'm like I can say yeah.
You can mention
Yeah, I
you've
can say
washed
it,
a
but
P1.
like they didn't want photos or anything like that.
Nothing saying
It
where the
was-
location.
it was like
Yeah,
location
anonymous.
where I can't say anything like. But like yeah, that was the most expensive car. I
He
ever
did
washed.
he detailed the P1 that was into Hurricane.
Got washed.
Yeah, that shit got
And
washed.
It got washed
They're still washing it today.
today. But no, that car will be. I can only use that shoot so much. That Huracan Performante shoot.
Right.
That was great photos. Harris takes amazing photos, and I love using them for promos. But I can only use it so much, so it's time for a new.
Yeah,
photo
let's pimp it out.
promo shoot. But yeah, where price points are gonna be is it's really the money in detailing. If you're doing detailing, it's not cleaning interiors every day. I thoroughly enjoy doing the full paint corrections, the ceramic coatings,
Fixing things.
Yeah, and it's like, I thoroughly enjoy that way more than cleaning, your baby's throw up off your seat for 2 hours. Just because it's more of an art form for me. It's taking pride in it, and it's a lot more work, and I don't know.
This is a little bit more therapeutic.
Yeah, it's a lot better. I can just throw on my music
you're-
and just
You turn into like a machine, and you just
Yeah.
like you have this rhythm and
Yeah.
flow to
and that's
it.
what it is. Just like if I do this, little tweak here, little tweak here, and I'm not running around the countryside all day. I'm there for the day and nice and easy and
Yeah.
So
So before you didn't have like a physical location, no brick and mortar, and I just recently talked to you. Are you still thinking about?
we're trying to. So
Yeah.
we're gonna negotiate. We're trying to find a few. Well, we've had a few options come up with finding a shop, because that's where you need to get to if you want to survive in wintertime. You need an actual location. So we're trying a few different spots in the Prior Lake, Lakeville area to try to. We're seeing our options because we landed on one in Prior Lake, but another great opportunity has come up in Lakeville. So we'll see what happens, because I really do want a location, but we'll see what it
you
holds.
said before that you had 2 to 3 employees, right?
Yep.
Are you back at that number?
Not yet.
Are
So-
you looking to like continue working and then expanding business?
So my goal is to obviously stop being a detailer and be a business owner eventually.
Right. You want it to get to the point where it's on autopilot.
Yeah. So we've been working a lot on figuring out a business model because we still want to do mobile because that's huge. A lot of people love it.
I love mobile.
That's what I'm saying.
It makes it so much easier for me just to call you and then you show up, and I don't need to take it somewhere and then get picked up and then get brought back.
It's all, it takes so much time out of your day to be like, okay, and then it's pickup times and I close and whatnot. It's like, well, Sean's like, hey, I'm going to be home at this time. I'm like, okay, I'll show up and get it done in half an hour and leave.
It's great. Great for people like me. That's for sure.
Yeah. And a lot of people love it because it takes, it frees them up completely and you don't have to worry about anything. So I still want to keep that side of it. So we're trying to figure out right now because I would love to expand it, and we figured out new pricing way to pay people and all that stuff to make it very advantageous to do that. But it's kind of the working around of the process of making that happen. So we still want to do mobile, but now we're looking into kind of moving into shop, but also offering a car wash as well. Because that's always been my dream of, competing with, if anyone knows, Paradise Car Wash.
I think many people know about Paradise. Yeah, it's like one of the largest car washes.
And it's kind of the only big car wash that does
in like the metro area.
Yeah, full washes and has a detailing service in it. So that's one opportunity that we have on the table is to become a full car wash and detail bay, which is that's kind of our main goal, what we want to get into. So that's where we want to head, is to get into full auto detailing, have a car wash, to have that always working constantly. We do want to offer, automatic hand washes. So anyone, you don't have to worry about getting your car scratched up. Come in, get a hand wash for 15 minutes, and you're out. Super, super quick, super easy. Anyone can do it. So there's a lot of avenues we're trying to go. So there's a lot of growing, and it's just juggling all my other businesses I have going on. So it's nonstop work. So that's kind of where our sights are set on right now currently.
Mobile wise, you can also go to like people's office buildings too, right? Like, are you fully mobile, like with the water tank and everything?
Yeah. So I don't have a trailer anymore. I sold that for the winter time because I didn't want to keep it there. And I didn't think I was going to get back into it, to be honest with you. But, I just, we bring our own water and all that stuff now. We can pretty much do it anywhere.
What's like one of the craziest places that you've like washed a car at?
Inside the U.S. Bank Stadium. No.
I wish.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. The craziest place.
And make sure you're speaking into the mic, by the way.
My bad.
Just because you're going to look soft on me.
I know. It's hard when I'm trying to think. There isn't too many crazy places. I watched one in Duluth, like on the side of a sketchy road, just to get a photo. But that was about it. I watched tractors in fields before many times. That's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
That gets nice and dirty. But no, nothing too crazy. No one's like... There's only been a few times I've been scared for my life where I'm detailing, and that's why I do not go certain places anymore and armed, so we're good to go.
That's why you put the 15-mile
That's
radius
why I say I
into
charge,
effect.
and there is no-go zones for me. There is zones, sorry, I'm not going there at this
So
point.
is that going to be like South Minneapolis, Northwest Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you won't be cleaning the takeover cars.
If you say you have Minneapolis, we really don't do any of that work. Just downtown in general, we've had it's I understand the area, and I know there's good parts and bad parts, but we've had issues before going up there of we have a lot of equipment, and if we're me and my partner, we're inside of a car not taking a look, it's easy for all of our equipment when we're not looking.
Yeah, it can get taken in a second.
And that's we've had issues before like that where we've seen people trying to, and that's why we just don't. And we only do in the areas we had problems. So that's kind of the main reason for it, is where there's a crime issue. We don't do it because we're a hot target to we have a bunch of nice equipment in there.
Yeah, and it's easy to steal equipment too. Like, a buffer or something. Like, those aren't cheap.
It's like, everything's in boxes, so it's like, and it's Milwaukee.
Ready to go.
It's all Milwaukee branded stuff because I'm crazy. But, it's just grab it, go, and, there's $1,000 away from me. That I'm never going to see it again. So that's why it's hard to go in those areas where there's higher crime.
Same with my camera gear too. Like, I just avoid certain areas because, like, if I forget to lock my car or something, it's one case.
Yep.
And there goes $5,000.
Yeah. I know. I've been in some very, very sketchy areas where I'm like, not doing this ever again.
Dude, I remember one time we were coming back. I think this was coming back from Venom Rally East. We were coming back from Niagara Falls, and we drove through South Side Chicago, like in the heart of, dude. And people are mad dogging us. Like, there's people standing on corners just watching, like, these nice cars come through, and they're just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. Remember that street that we drove down in Minneapolis when we were, I don't know where we were trying to go. It was you and me in your Jeep Gladiator. I had my cowboy hat on, and we turned down that street, and we're like, we are about to die.
There's some areas that are just full-blown sketchy, man. Like, I get it. People will tell you, like, oh, well, you just got to know. But
we don't know.
I mean, a block makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. That's
very true.
That's what's scary.
Anywhere and everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Dude, it is ridiculous that a single block makes that big of a difference. Like, it's
and that's what customers told me. They're like, oh, this side, amazing neighborhood. And they're like, don't go this street. Anything after this street, I'd be scared. I'm like, yeah, that's a little too much. I like Shakopee, where it's like, yeah, everyone's nice here.
You have any crazy stories, like, things burning down, or I mean, what kind of? You have any wild stories over the years, or has everything been pretty tame?
It's been when I was detailing semi trucks for transportation companies. That was the dirtiest, craziest stuff I've ever found. If you think truckers like hookers, it's true, because I have had to pick out many panties out of trucks and questionable items that there's only been a few times where I said you should just burn that truck down. So like, yeah, there hasn't been anything too crazy I have found.
Just straight up doing like a Borat bit.
One dude got mad at me. I detailed. Funniest thing was I detailed for a drug dealer. Didn't know he was a drug dealer. It was actually downtown Shakopee. Funny enough. We were detailing his brand new Cadillac he bought, and he went and sat in another car, and we were just detailing on the side of the road for a while, and for like 2 hours, just nonstop. Car pulled up, he got in, boom, car. It was like assembly line. And like when we were vacuuming, just under the seat was just buds of weed, and my employee at the time was just like, shh, just everything was just getting sucked up, and I was just like, what is going on? So like, I knew the cash he paid with was so much drug money.
Didn't you one time find like a $5,000 roll in someone's glove box, or am I thinking of someone else?
No, so actually, the craziest, actually, now that reminded me, I found, I was in Minnetonka cleaning this lady's car. I think it was like his ex-wife's car or something. And I found her old wedding ring in there, and he was like, you don't understand, like, this is like many six figures, this ring.
Wow.
And I was like, really? So he throws like $1,000 tip.
Whoa.
That. He's like, I can finally sell it. I'm like, good enough. I appreciate that.
Oh, so it was his ex-wife?
It was his ex-wife. He was like, I've been waiting to sell that thing all along. I'm like, hey, here it is. It was. I don't know even how we found it, but yeah.
God was shining on him that day.
That was a great day. I'm like, thank you, sir. Thank you for the tip.
That's insane. The fact that, like, the $1,000 tip, like, that alone tells you just how expensive that ring was.
He was like, I'm not going to tell you, but it was in the six-figure range. It was like, oh my God. I'm like, it makes sense. The house I was at, everything lined up perfectly. I was like, so.
That's a crazy story, dude.
Yeah, no, I've had some few crazy. So detailing, you get offered a lot of interesting things for tips. I've taken home so much random crap. People just tip me, and weird ways. One dude for a while, he was tipping me in bread. He made bread for me every time. I got banana bread.
That's the most Bosnian thing I've heard.
Old ladies always used to cook me like pies and crap to take home, and that's why I got fat so much. Like, this week I got like $100 Starbucks gift card. What am I gonna spend? They were just like, thank you so much, and I'm like, I got offered chickens one time. They had
like live chickens.
I was on a farm, and they were like, do you want to take home some chickens for some, as a tip? And I'm like, I should have. I really should have, but I didn't.
Fresh eggs every morning.
I had nowhere to put them. I was like,
they stink too.
I know.
Go
I
to
want
Lowe's,
chickens,
get some chicken wire.
I was like, that's an amazing tip. I should have took the chickens. That's like a gift that never stops giving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some pretty crazy stories.
How have I not heard these before?
I'm just remembering them all. I deal with so many different people every day. It's funny. It really gets you a perspective on life, because I'll go from, people worth a couple $100 million and, people who are worth nothing. And it's like, it's crazy. It's funny.
They all need their cars washed.
Yeah, they all need their cars washed. And I'm like, I go from, Ferrari to, baby just puked in the back of a minivan, and I'm just like, it's crazy, kind of the spectrum.
What a weird lifestyle when you think of it that way.
It is. It was like, I go from $1 million here, and then I'm like, oh, your kid just puked. I guess I'll clean that.
Look at those fruity pebbles.
Yeah, I'll clean that up too. So it's a fun business. I love it. I'm not saying I want to be in it forever, because it's always changing. My other business is what I would love to do long term, but whatever floats, whatever's making money is kind of what you focus on currently.
It's a good one to own.
You are a hustler. That is true.
Yeah, I try.
I mean, eventually, the goal is to always get employees and, step away and then let it run itself. I mean, that would be the goal, but I mean, you never know. We'll see what happens. Until then,
it's really like, I'd love to do it and do it forever because for the connections, but it's hard work and it's hard to find people, because detailing is a hard one to get employees with, because if you can't pay them well enough, what's stopping them from spending $1,000 and going and starting their own? And it's kind of that low barrier of entry until you can get like a shop where it actually separates itself. But I had issues with that before. For a while it was, I can just start this on my own. They never do, but they just quit and doing their own thing. But now we're at the point where I'm paying guys really well, so that's kind of high prices. My customers understand that, but it's like, my team and me actually get to enjoy life a little bit more.
Right. Well, there's somebody else here locally also has the same issue. Like, it's always like, the battle of paying somebody enough, which, they pay well, but then you occasionally get those people. It's like, oh, I'm going to go start my own business.
Yep.
And same thing. They never do.
Yeah. And like, I stopped getting mad about it, because, when you start, you're like, oh, no competition. But like, I've learned, it's like, yeah, go do it.
Do it. Prove me.
Go ahead, prove me wrong. And that's how my life's been. It's always been like, prove me wrong. And that's one thing I love about 75 Hard too, is like, I got so much feel out of it and love the feeling of, hey, no one else is doing this, but I am. And that's kind of what drives me all the time. And that's why I'm a workaholic, because I'm like, no one else is doing it.
There's an ego trip that comes with that, and in a good way too. And man, you're making me want to get back onto it, because like during that period, I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I'm outdoing every motherfucker in this room.
Yeah, it's like, it's a humbling thing where it's like, hey, many times during that time, I walked at 1 a.m. many times. On day 75, I finished at 2 a.m. because I finished at the gym, because I worked all day and then did my walk and did all my stuff and then finished at 2 a.m. And it's like, who else is doing that? A lot of people don't. So it's, like I said, it's not really it's a mental, changed me mentally. It's not really a physicality thing.
So you brought up 75 Hard a couple times, but I'm not actually very familiar with it. Is it just working out?
So 75 Hard is it's a mental program, basically. So it's 2 45-minute workouts every single day. One has to be outside no matter what condition. Obviously, be smart, but and they can't be consecutive. So you can't do your lifting and then go right for a walk. So it has to be within like a 2-3 hour span afterwards, at minimum.
Okay.
You follow a diet. You don't get any cheat meals, nothing like that. There's no alcohol, anything. You do 10 pages a day of a self-help, nonfiction book, and then also drink a gallon of water every single day. And then you also take a progress photo, so you take a photo of yourself shirtless every single day.
No exceptions to any of those either. Otherwise, you're just not doing it. There's a lot of people that try to turn the program into something that's suitable for their lifestyle.
And that's the point.
But then it doesn't turn into 75 hard.
Exactly.
It's now 75 medium.
Yep.
There was actually a guy, and I remember Andy talking about this on the podcast when I used to listen to it. Some guy made a page called like 75 soft or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like eating churros every day or some shit.
Yeah, so there is a program out there called 75 Soft that a bunch of people do, and it's like drinking only on social events. And a dude's like, well, I'm social every day. I go to the bar every day. And I'm like, you guys understand. I'm like, the point of it is to be hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're soft. It's in the name. And I actually, I never understood it, but after doing it, like, I get pissed when people are like, oh, I'm just going to
Dude, it turns you into an asshole.
And like, you know, I also, like, I hate excuses now.
Yep.
Like, when people are like, oh, I can't do it, I'm like, why? I get so angry when people give me excuses, and it teaches you a lot.
I got ramped up earlier today. Somebody was giving me a bunch of excuses. I basically paid them for a service, and they just gave me excuses on, you know, why I was late and this and that. And it's like, well, you agreed to something, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Same thing with, you know, 75 hard. It's like you agreed to do this, now you have to do it. And I always tell people, if you're going to do it, you have to go into it full send. Otherwise, it's going to bother you forever that you didn't finish it like I did.
Yep.
To this day, it still bothers the shit out of me.
Yeah.
You know, and now I think I'm actually back in, like, my hamstrings healed up enough to where I probably could do it again. I probably should. You got me amped up, bro.
Yeah. No, it teaches you the ultimate discipline, because it's like, no matter what, that's how I was. It was like, no matter what, I'm doing it. You know, if I have to drop dead, you know, I'm doing it.
Be smart, but I still remember, one of the craziest ones I did is I ran through a tornado siren. Like, it was pouring rain, and the tornado sirens, the wind was picking up, and I was like, and that's actually where I found that next level, is like, I had to run faster to get home. And I was like, I don't
know if you craved that, but I started craving bad weather.
Yeah, same.
It's like
same.
Whenever it's raining or thunderstorm, yeah, I'm running.
28
I'm
degrees.
Out. Yeah, it's like, well, because I started like end of February. So
yep, same.
It was still cold, and that was my favorite thing. I'm like, no one else is out here. I'm in a full jacket, you know, just walking, and I walked because, you know, running's
You're
hard
a bigger boy.
I'm a big boy.
Bad on your joints.
It's not good for the joints until I get lower. But, you know, I was like, I just walked in, walking with intent. It's not a leisurely walk. It's, you know, you're trying to walk as fast as you can.
Yeah, and in snow, like, especially if it just snowed, it's going to increase the resistance.
Oh, I loved it. You started craving it to get harder. And the one thing it did teach me is how much time I truly have. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think it's sustainable. And I'm like, I can't live without it now. If I don't do it, and it really freed up a lot of time, because it made me realize how much time I truly was wasting in a day.
You become stricter with your time. Your time becomes a lot more valuable too.
Yeah.
Like, because right now, like, granted, I'm still pretty tough on myself, but sometimes you'll, like, just fuck around. You'll spend too much time talking to people. You don't get to a point. It's a lot of bullshitting in life. You realize there's a lot of bullshitting in life.
Yeah. And when you start taking away, like, your phone and stop doom scrolling through, you know, your social medias, that's where all the time, I feel like, gets lost on people. I can seriously, I could sit through, like, Facebook Marketplace and just scroll through, like, all the cars that are being sold for, like, 25 minutes, and in that 25 minutes I could be reading 10 pages from a self-help, or starting a 45-minute walk.
And that's kind of what I was happy that it, because, you know, that's kind of what we do. We just mindlessly scroll constantly, and that was the biggest thing. I'm like, I want to stop doing that, because it does teach you.
It's not productive.
Yeah, it teaches you, like, it teaches me. I'm like, that's why I started all my businesses back up, because of it. Because I'm like, I need to get on the train, and, like, if I'm not doing something, I'm always gonna be trying to better yourself. It's kind of like phase one. I'm starting phase one. He talks about the power list of kind of,
what you need to get done for the day.
It's like these are the 5 things you have to do to push yourself further.
And once you're done, just fuck off the rest of the day.
Yeah, even though I hate doing that, but
but that's the thing. That's actually something that I found that makes me much more productive, and I still implement that to this day. Not necessarily the power list, but every morning I go through a to-do list of like what needs to get done that day, even though I don't write it down. But the thing is like having that, get these tasks done, finish your day, fuck off. Even if you finish at 2 in the afternoon, it's time to just relax.
Yeah.
Next day, as long as you're getting 1% better every day. But I love that power list. Even though I don't write it down, it's all mental.
Yeah. I write it down every day.
I should. I've been starting to use my calendar more.
I rip off my pages of my wins and W's and get to it.
It sounds dumb, but it fucking works.
It works. And when you don't finish it, it really pisses you off.
Yep.
Because it's like when I fail, I'm like, write it down on the next day. You got it, and it's really.
It gets longer and longer.
It gets longer and longer, and that's how it's been. It's just every single day.
You should see my whiteboard.
It sounds like a honey-do list. I'm married, and so my wife gives me a list, and it's the honey, can you do this? For everything that I need to do in the day, because I don't realize like everything that needs to be done until I see it, and it's like, oh wow, I got some work for me.
It's basically like that. It's more coming from you. It's like, hey, this is what I need to do. Like every day, I put stuff that's like super hard on there. That's like, hey, this is like...
Not the basic stuff. Like, for example, like if you work out every day, don't fucking add that to the list. That's already a habit. This is about new things that you need to get done. Like, drink a gallon of water. Dickhead, you should be doing that, you know?
No matter what. Yeah, it's I put stuff down, it's pretty much all business based. It's like, I need to get this done today, talk to this many people to advance my business every single day. And it really does. And people are like, okay, I get the habit. What do I do now? I'm like, well, that's a habit. Keep that habit.
Build on it.
Add a new one.
You're on phase 1 now, right?
So, phase 1 adds, so everything 275 hard, it adds the 3 more power list tasks, 15 minutes of, like, visualization of, like, every single day you are thinking about where you want to be.
Or what you're going to even do for that day.
It's like, what you're going to do for the day. I take the approach of where exactly I want to be. I think of a certain,
For me, it's cold calling.
I always think of, like, me driving up in some Lambo to my house with my, it's materialistic things that I'm like, I will have that one day, and 15 minutes of just like constantly keeping that in your mind, keeping it alive. And then also it adds 5-minute cold shower. For 75 hard, I did cold showers every single day. I love them now.
They're amazing. I love them.
That's all I do.
They're not cold enough.
I don't even do hot anymore. It's like cold shower every day. Cold shower. So like now I kind of want to do, instead of cold showers, I want to do ice baths.
I love them.
So
today I'm up to 2 minutes daily now. So the one that we have at my gym at Lifetime Medina, it's a cold plunge, and it's anywhere between 45 and 50 degrees if there's nobody in there. Mm-hmm. It might warm up if there's people in there. That's why I don't like being around people. But, dude, I get up there in 2 minutes, and I get out, and I'm just like a lobster because that thermal layer is trying to build. Yeah. So I make it harder, and I fucking splash in there like a toddler, dude. It's hilarious because, like, real crazy guys like Ryan, they will go in the river during winter. Yeah. You cannot build a thermal layer. It is way harder than just sitting still in an ice bath.
Yeah, if the water's moving, well, it's just like the shower. It's like you're not submerged all the way. I just turn and I'm like,
those are easy for me now though. That's the thing. After because I take a cold shower after a ice plunge or a cold plunge or whatever, and I'm like, this bitch ain't getting colder.
Yeah, it really isn't cold enough anymore. But yeah, no, you crave all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
After it, it's like, it
you become a masochist kind of.
Yeah. It's like
you're just like, I want it.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything because I don't do this at all, and it's like I can imagine like you guys doing it because you build up like this
resistance
tolerance to it, and then like for me, if I wanted to start doing that, it'd feel like I'd be getting shocked.
That and the thing is,
that's how it starts.
Andrew Huberman, who was a scientist at Stanford or whatever, a neuroscientist or whatever, he talks about this, and he has other professionals come on his podcast. You actually stand to benefit the most when you don't want to do it. Like the days I don't want to do it, those are the days where I jump in there and it's like a rubber band, right? Like it's a complete 180. So like I took Sean one time to go to a cold plunge, and I think we did like 30 seconds or
30
whatever.
seconds.
But you were wired the rest of that day.
Was I?
You were wired.
I don't remember.
You were psychotic.
And it's funny because 30 seconds
is nothing.
Well, like, so.
Okay, you do it for 2 minutes. That's only 4 times longer.
Okay, no, you have to work your way up, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's hard up until 1 minute, 1.5, and then after that, it's actually pretty easy because your body's like, you're breathing.
Adjusted.
Yeah, but kind of to your point, that's kind of, after doing it, that's kind of I live my life now. After kind of doing 75 words, like anytime I hear, Andy calls it the bitch voice of like, hey, I don't want to do it. It's 180. I'm doing it.
You got to yell at yourself.
Anytime I feel like, hey, I don't want to do it, I'm like, it's just a trigger. It's like, hey, boom, you're doing it, no matter what. It's like whenever you don't want to do something, you force yourself to do it, and you'll be way happier. And kind of with ice baths, after kind of learning, a lot of people are like, I can only, 30 seconds or whatnot. They talk about you give up right before it's about to get easy.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I realized, because like when I love jumping in the lake when it's super cold. So like this year I started doing that. Like when all the ice froze, I'd go to Prior Lake and I'd jump in.
Really? I'll have to join you on that.
And it's not cold anymore. But
not right now.
Not anymore. It used to be, but
it's 85 degrees out. I'll join you.
But it's like, it sucks for 3 minutes. But 4 or 5,
you get start to enjoy it.
It's like 5 minutes. I'm like, this is awesome.
It's like a normal pool in the summer.
Yeah, I love it. And, that's what it talks about. It's like normally, like in anything, you give up right before it's about to happen. So that's what it's taught me a lot, too.
That's one of those what ifs that's going to live with me forever, is like Whiplash. Like I shuddered at Just Before North, and I'm just like, what if I toughed it out?
What if you did?
But at the same time, something was calling at me to really full send it on Minnoxide, and we've seen the results of that so far this year, which is pretty nuts. And it's about, I still feel like I'm never doing enough. Yeah. That's the other thing.
Never enough.
When you get onto, when you do 75 hard, even if you half-ass it like I did, or finish half of it rather, you start to really question everything you do.
Yep.
It's like, is this valuable use of my time? And being around people like you, especially, I think everybody can learn from that. If there's anybody still listening this far in, we'll wrap it up here in a second. But you have to surround yourself with people who are hungry.
Yep.
Because you're all going to want to hunt together.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing I learned, is I had to be okay. Like I got to the point afterwards of saying, whoever's in my life is in my life. It's like, hey, if you're, I only want, sharks around me that are gonna dominate. Love your buddy if you're gonna like drink all the time, and you're gonna, if you're not hungry, we can hang out from a distance and check in once in a while. But
that's kind of what I do nowadays too.
It's like, I only want people around me who are doing something, and and I'm okay. I kind of got to the point where it's like, hey, if you're not doing something and that affects us, sorry, it's. You got to be willing to lose everything to gain everything.
Well, friction's another one too. This is one that I'm kind of learning a lot this year. I remember talking to my pops or whatever, like I was just, bitching about something, and, I'm aware of it sometimes, but he's like, man, why do you need this friction? And, just that particular word friction, it's like, why do you want this? And I'm like, you're right. Why do I want it? It's like, I know that other terms, I've heard so many different things, but that particular word, it's like, is this causing friction in my life right now? Yeah. And I'm working on it. I'm a hothead sometimes still, but, but no, I was down in Chicago for a conference, and everybody's, bar hopping or whatever. I had 4 cocktails. I like a nice cocktail. Don't get me wrong. But I stop at, 1 or 2, and they're like, what, you're done, dude? And I'm like, it's not me. Like, you guys do you, but it's not for me.
Yep. Yeah, that's always been the struggle with me, because I don't drink, I don't do anything, I don't smoke, I've never really done anything. I've got drunk one time on my 21st birthday. I didn't drink in high school, I didn't do any of that stuff, and I just never really saw a point of it. I've always seen kind of the bad side of it, and I've never had time to. And I see kind of that point of like, hey, you do me, you do you, I'm going to do me. But you're going to wish that you did me.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I treat it like a coffee. Like I'll do like a cocktail or whatever. Like I'll be like, hey, let's go get a drink or whatever. Like I did that, a month or two ago with Daniel Goddard from Glisten, or not Glisten. He's with Platinum or whatever the fuck he's doing now. Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, I'll get a Kentucky Mule here or whatever, just one. Yeah. That's it for me. And for whatever reason, every time I go out with people, they're like, that's it, just one. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I do it for the flavor.
Yeah. You kind of realize like the culture behind it. I'm like, really?
I treat it like a coffee, and that's it. I'm not trying to get. I mean, so Tyler, who was on the this podcast last week, he reminded me of. I forgot about this. That's how shit-faced I was. I had a really bad experience in 2020 or whatever, just before the pandemic. Oh no, 2019 actually, with this chick I was hanging out with at the time, and it's just like I was fucking plastered. I mean, he came to pick me up, and this was. Dude, it was a rough situation. I don't think I've drank that heavy ever since then. It's like, because I literally forgot about that until he brought it up like last week. It was hilarious, but
yeah, no, it's kind of title, and yeah, you kind of change who you're allowed to let in your life, and you kind of
no high school shit.
Yeah, it's like I went to the people around me. It's like, hey, and I kind of realized, I have to hold myself. He talks about the. Your personal excellence is the greatest rebellion. And it's like all about being the best that you can be and holding yourself to the highest standard and making sure everyone around you has the highest standard. And I kind of just went to people, my buddies who don't really want to achieve anything in life. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is the values I'm going to be like. If you're not going to do these values, best of luck to you.
Yeah, I want to be around like-minded people.
Yeah, and because you're the average of your 5 closest friends. If your 5 friends are a bunch of drinking buddies and you don't really do
you'll
much,
be the 6th.
You'll be the 6th. And I'm like, it's crazy because it's true. I have lived it. It's the people around you influence you greatly unless you're the first one to change. So that's kind of why it's all changed for me and putting the right people around me.
I like being a trendsetter, not for any. I mean, it's partially a selfish reason, but I like the people that I introduce into my life, like yourself and Sean or whatever. Like, I try to make people around me better. I'm not gonna put anybody down and be like, "Oh, you dumb fat fuck" or whatever. But like, I will tell people like, "Hey, here's what I'm doing. I've proven it. Here's where I come from. Why don't you try it too?" Yeah. And then over time, you realize you aren't a fit or you are a fit for each other. But we could talk about this all day long. I mean, we've been used to it. But one thing I recently implemented, just because I have to share this, is there's this one book, and this all started with Who Hired Me. Basically, they were like, hey, you buy this book, I'll reimburse you or whatever. I just need you to read this before you start. Yeah. And I started implementing that with my friends. So like you, Chaz, Ryan Wheeler, I think a handful of other people. And I'm like, hey, you buy this book, read the whole thing, I will reimburse you. If you find absolutely zero value in this, I will reimburse you twice if you read this and find absolutely nothing of value. That's how passionate I am. And just for anybody's curiosity, the book is They Ask, You Answer. And then also like a few people like you and Wheeler, I would send Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Like, dude, this is the greatest book I've ever read. So just got to implement that. Got to be around monsters, man. But
yeah, you have to.
Is there anything that you want to talk about?
I can go for days because
we can. Do we want to wrap it up this time? We have you back on another time.
Sure, we can go for days.
Oh yeah.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, we can. Sean, hit me.
All right, you got 3 choices. You got to pick for a daily, a track car, and a show car.
Unlimited budget.
Thank you. I listen to every.
Yeah, I always forget
I listen to every single episode, so I know. I'm like
a true fan
here. I know
here.
the cues. So that's hard for me. So I'm a diesel country loving guy, so I'm not.
Yeah, if you're not watching the video, you should you tell immediately.
I'm a different kind of breed, so.
Before you jump into that, I gotta say, please be friends with everybody. You need a redneck friend in your life that blows shit up in the fields, that has diesel trucks. You need one of those guys in your life. I don't care how left wing or right wing you are. You need a friend that blows shit up in the fields.
Harris loves getting the videos. He'll be on a random Tuesday. I'm like, hey, just blew up like 25 pounds of tannerite in the backyard. It's like, hey,
you need a gun-loving friend, man.
Yep, exactly. So for a daily, I'd probably do 1,000 horsepower Cummins, because that's what I want to do. To my truck is build it to 1,000 horsepower, straight pipe it, because those things will beat a lot, and roll coal on everybody. Might as well have a truck that can beat about keep up with supercars. So that'd probably be my daily every single day, or TRX. Those two are probably simple trucks.
Simple
Trucks.
Yeah. Okay.
Track setup. I'm a sucker for Lambos. I'd do a whole setup. So I definitely do a Ram 3500, all lifted, all paint matched, nice, probably like 40-foot gooseneck paint matched trailer. And then paint matched, I'd probably do, God, I've always been a fan of the SV.
What color is this paint that you're thinking of?
Matte army green.
All right.
Okay, kind of like that McLaren 720 that went back up for sale, the wide body one.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
but no, Lamborghini does I don't know what color it is.
the one SVJ does in Imola.
Yes, and no, it's an actually matte army green.
Yeah, they had one. I'm not talking about the bright green. I'm talking about the matte
the
one.
dark green. And that's probably what I'd paint. I love paint matching everything. It's just rolling up the track, trucks paint matched, trailers paint matched, and then cars.
Your fingernail, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd probably do like an SVJ. Just kind of. I'm a sucker for Lambos, but that'd probably be the track car. I'm more about I'm not crazy about tracking vehicles. But I love a good track setup.
I got the bug.
Yeah. Like kind of Minneapolis Mopar. When I saw him post this track setup, I'm like, yeah, he's got the truck, he's got the trailer and the car. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah. So that's how I would do it. And then a show car.
Make sure to speak loudly with your chest.
Show car. That's hard. That's super hard for me.
You've had 21 episodes to figure this out?
I have. I don't know.
I couldn't imagine being put on the spot because it changes every week.
It's hard to pinpoint what show car would be. It would have to be. I've always been a fan of the P1 ever since cleaning it. It'd be very close between a P1 or a LaFerrari.
P1 or a LaFerrari.
That was Terry's answer. LaFerrari.
That would be the top two. That's I think of just probably P1, but I'd do a full carbon fiber P1, and that thing would be perfect. I'd be the guy that delivers that on a tow truck and just drops in the middle of the parking lot.
That'd be really cool.
And then I'd do a burnout on my way out.
Yeah, whip some donuts. Yeah, man. Hamilton style.
I'm a Sean knows. I'll mud my trucks and put them through deep mud holes, and I am planning to do that with every car I own. Lambos, anything. I do want to get the new Huracan eventually.
The off-road
one. I want to take that on a motocross course.
They were watching you, and they knew how your love for Lamborghini, and they're like, how do we get Alec to want us more?
Wannabe rich redneck buy our cars. And it's yep, that's it. It's just like that dude who put a Cummins in a Gallardo.
Yeah.
I texted Harris the first thing. I'm like, I have been out rednecked. I am so angry. I'm like, I've wanted to do it forever, is put a diesel in some sports car.
Is this the guy that diesel swaps everything? He did the Mustang diesel swap?
I don't know if it's the same guy.
I don't know.
He did a wide body Gallardo and put a Cummins motor in it. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do that, but I'll do it on a bigger scale eventually. But
got to get there, man. I remember talking especially when I was a big Mopar guy. I'm like, man, just an all-wheel drive Hellcat Charger, is all I wanted. And then Speed Cord, they built one, and they took off the supercharger and they made it a twin turbo, full carbon, just gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, kind of dream cars. I really. No one really talks about diesel trucks in Minnesota.
I think you're our first diesel truck daily build.
Yeah, that's. I have plans to build one and make it super nice and high horsepower. because you don't see that at shows. A super clean truck, but like super high horsepower. Cause
You used to see a lot of trucks at Cars and Coffee back when they used to show here in Shakopee at Canterbury. They had a whole truck row.
Well, see, us rednecks don't go to Minneapolis.
No.
So,
Oh, that's right. Now that I think about it,
you guys don't
and
fit
and our trucks don't fit
in the parking structures.
Exactly. I loved going to Canterbury. I'd throw on the
dude, you're right.
12-foot flag and come down. But yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Even when Cars and Coffee switched to Mystic Lake, like, you know, because it was a smaller lot, there was a lot less people.
Yeah, so that's one thing I want to build is super nice high horse, because I want to do pulling trucks eventually. I want to build,
that'd be cool,
tractor pull.
Yeah, tractor pulls, and that's what I want to get into eventually. Is just
I had a cousin who had a built Cummins, and he did tractor pulls. He lived in Wisconsin for a little bit, and he had an amazing truck. That thing was so awesome, and it made like 1,000+ horsepower. He would beat Lamborghinis and Ferraris with it, like, and it's just like this 2006 Dodge Cummins, like, who would have known?
And that's what I love. It's like oh, it's just a truck, and I'm like, just wait till you hear the turbo, just gone. And those things move. Oh yeah,
I mean, like, they have even more torque than they have horsepower.
Oh yeah, it's
twist the chassis.
They will. Yeah, so
we've seen it happen. Those tractor pulls are ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, well, that's why they have certain like safety requirements. You know, you got to put a big plate of steel underneath your floor pan so the drive shaft doesn't shoot up and impale you.
Yeah, there's a few. You have to put steel plating on the sides of your motor, because there's many times pistons will just start shooting out.
Yeah.
But
those things turn into rockets.
There's a bunch. When you start getting over certain horsepower, they will make you. But no, I want to do all that. Pulling tractors is a whole different breed. If you've never gone, definitely go.
I'd love to go check it out in person. I have yet to do that, dude. I've seen so many videos of like runaway diesels and shit just exploding.
Yeah, we don't really have that too many issues anymore. Those are older trucks that
it's just
ran away a lot. But yeah, no, definitely come to a truck or tractor pull.
They ever get like a tank out there? I'm sure there's like a video
last
of like
there was a diesel swap G-Wagon.
Whistling Diesel's gonna do it now. You just gave him a new video idea. Yep. He's gonna bring that freaking tank out.
Yeah, no, definitely come out. Definitely come for the demolition derbies. I go to all of them. Last year we did a combine demolition derby. That was a good time.
Whoa.
Hey, rednecks with paychecks. That's what I say.
Rednecks with paychecks. I love it. Well, Alec, we are happy to have had you on finally.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having
me. On the new podcast.
What's that?
On the new podcast, Minnoxide. I was on the other one, but...
Dude, I'm pretty stoked. Like, the people that we're having early on, like, we're having so much early success with this podcast. Like, we're only on episode 22 right now.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, imagine how good this thing's going to be at 122. Yeah. Like,
and I thoroughly enjoy this podcast. Like, I'll throw it on with my employees, and, like... We enjoy it because it's nice, like, when you know a bunch of people in the community, because I get to hear backstories of, like, I didn't even know you guys.
Right.
They did, and it's super cool to hear, and I'm happy to kind of share that with everybody.
And the goal here is, I have had people ask me, like, oh, you just have anybody on or whatever. I'm like, no. Like, I'm trying to have interesting people on, people who are, either have done cool stuff within the car community or are in the car community and are doing cool stuff or whatever, Yeah. It's a delicate balance, because we are trying to make sure that this podcast, at the end of the day, for the listener, is entertaining. Like, that's what it is. We want, us to move on to the next episode, and you're like, oh, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
Not like, all right, well, that was a fucking waste, know?
Oh yeah, I tell you. I'll text you. Hey, this was bad. This was good.
Yeah, you're always truthful.
You'll be our quality control.
Yeah, quality control.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you?
So, Lux Detailing USA is pretty much what it's called everywhere. You can find me on Google. Find our website, luxdetailingusa.com. Instagram is the same, Lux Detailing USA. Just search it up on any social platform. We'll come up. We'll get you taken care of, and looking forward to working with everybody.
Hell
awesome. Yeah. And you guys can find me on Instagram. I'm 1MN Mopar. That's about it. And then you can find Harris.
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
We've covered this.
Yeah.
We got to give you a shout out. It's your show.
Yeah.
Minnoxide.
Yeah, dude, you should do that. Oh my god, different conversation. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.